This is Getting On with Life, Biblical Wisdom for Successful Christian Living. And this lesson is Correction Test. One way to find out if you are wise or foolish is to correct you. Correction is a way to test what people are like on the inside. You can appear nice and sincere, wise and helpful, but you may have selfishness, foolishness, pride, or other things lurking within. When you are corrected, we see what comes out of you in response. That will reveal much about you. So if you are working with people or with children in a class, workplace, club, or team, you need to be aware of the correction test. Here is the wisdom from King Solomon that defines the correction test. Proverbs 9, verse 8. Do not correct a scoffer, or he will hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. Giving correction or rebuke prompts different responses based on whether the person corrected is wise or foolish. A foolish person scoffs at authority. They feel superior in their own conceit, and their pride resists being shamed by being corrected. So they will likely find fault with the one correcting them. They will scoff at their ideas and mock them. They might do that secretly to avoid getting in trouble, but their heart will become hard toward the one rebuking them. Wise people listen to instruction and discipline. They may not like getting in trouble, but they respond to the discipline. Fools who mock and scorn authority do not learn from the rebuke. Proverbs 13:1 tells us, a wise son heeds his father's discipline, but a mocker does not listen to rebuke. And Proverbs 15:12 says, a mocker does not love to be reproved, nor will he consult the wise. So pay attention to how people respond to being corrected. If they comply with what is being asked, learning from the rebuke, they are wise. If they scoff at the rebuke or scorn or hate the one correcting them, they are foolish, and there is little hope for them. This is important for parents. Foolishness is locked into the heart of every child. So children need to be corrected, guided, and trained to live right and to respond properly from the inside. The foolishness is removed by godly discipline from loving parents. Proverbs 22:15 tells us, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline drives it far from him. And Proverbs 13:24 says, he who spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him diligently. And Proverbs 29:15 says, a rod of correction imparts wisdom, but a child left to himself shames his mother. A child will likely resent being corrected. They won't like the pain of discipline, but their heart will also scoff at and react to the parent correcting them. This is to be expected, since the foolish don't want to receive correction. When I teach on godly discipline, I commend giving clear instruction of what is expected from the child, and clear explanation of discipline they will receive if they fail to do what is right. When they do wrong, point out and explain that they have foolishness in their heart, and because you love them, you will discipline them to free them from foolishness. Administer punishment as prescribed, and then hold and soothe the child. Note that the child may push the parent away, reacting to being disciplined. However, hold the child and tell them of your love and your care for them, and that what you did for them is for their good because you love them. Sadly, once a child has been raised without loving discipline, or where a child has been given discipline in anger, they will take foolishness into their adult life. We are warned that using discipline in anger will have no effect. Proverbs 22:8 tells us, the rod of his anger will fail. Dealing with a grown-up fool is not so easy. They will not listen to rebuke or wisdom, and end up as a scorner who resents being obstructed and corrected. Proverbs 23:9 warns, speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. So keep your eyes open when people are being corrected. Those who respond with sullen resentment, or who scorn the corrector, or scoff at their words, or who despise the instruction they are given, are fools. Look out for scorn, scoffing, resentment, rebellion, independence, resistance, despisement, mockery, and contempt for authority. When you see those things, you know the person has failed the correction test. So what about you? Were you given loving discipline as a child? Did you submit to what your parents expected of you? If not, then don't you still have foolishness in your heart? And when you are corrected or shown up as having a fault, or shown a better way to do things, how do you react? Do you pass the correction test? Or does your heart respond with scorn, resentment, contempt, and the like? Do you love those who correct you? Let me remind you of Solomon's insight. Proverbs 9, verse 8. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. When you are rebuked, do you respect and hold dear the one who rebuked you? Do you look to that one for more guidance and input? Do you go to the wise so you can become wiser? Or are you trapped in your foolishness, throwing off the advice and correction you need? If you are a fool, then change your ways this instant. Humble yourself before God and admit that you need Him to set you free. Repent of your independence and relying on your own ideas. Call on God to set you free and to discipline you, taking foolishness out of your heart and life. At the heart of wisdom is having a submissive heart. Often fools scoff at correction because they resent being controlled and expected to fit in with other people's wishes. Yet all of us have to fit in with God's wishes. Submission to God is a fundamental reality of our universe. So independence, rebellion, self-will, and despisement of authority are pure foolishness. Parents teach children to yield their will. That's wisdom. Those who scorn and scoff express their self-worship, which is foolishness. We stand before our Creator and God and must account to Him for everything we do and say. Wisdom is to recognize that and to live our life in the fear of God. That's why the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Proverbs 9:10 tells us, "Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." Friends, don't be fools. Humble your heart before God and let Him remove foolishness from your heart. Submit to God and live in the fear of God, and respect and honor those who are wise and those with authority. As you do those things, keep your eyes and ears open, and particularly pay attention to how you and others pass the correction test. God bless you.